4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, folks. As you can tell, I'm on my own tonight, but I am absolutely honoured to be joined by none other than Jerry Hannon. Jerry, it's absolutely brilliant to have you on the Irish Race now.
My pleasure, Ryan.
Jerry, for the people who don't know you, which I'd be shocked if they didn't, let's be honest, but tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm from Listowel, Ryan, and born lucky, I suppose, being reared in a town with a race course. That's where the appetite was whetted from day one. So it was a great help in the road I was to take from a young age up until the present time.
Yeah. And Jerry, just how long have you been commentating, and when exactly did you find yourself saying, right, this is what I want to do, this is when the racing bug bit me, really?
Well, I got into racing with the renowned racing family, the Healy photographers, and it was with them that I traversed the country from an early age as firstly a camera bag man, and then I followed through with course photography. So I've been, I suppose, since 8, 9, 10 years of age, I've been in racing. But it was just the course commentary, the creation of an atmosphere that just struck a chord with me for some particular reason, and I just it's unfathomable really the way it has worked out for me. But it was the eye for photography from the start, and then I had a party piece, Michael O'Hare's 1967 Finehaven clip. When the late Michael passed away, there was an excerpt in the Racing Post, and I learned it off by heart, and it was a party piece when I was out socially and half under the influence that I'd run off this Finehaven clip, and people who say to me, why don't you give us, why don't you follow up on it? And I did at the pony races. I recall it was the 17th of October 1999. So it progressed from there. Shortly afterwards, I climbed another rung of the ladder, pint of pints, and then I was lucky enough to make the racecourse commentators panel. So it mushroomed unbeknownst to me very, very, very quickly. So since 2000 onwards, I've been calling races.
Yeah, so you've really worked for where you are now. You haven't just jumped into where you are now.
No, I made a lot of sacrifices from the time that I got into racing, because it's what I wanted. How I was so fortunate on the path, but I worked very hard at it, made a lot of sacrifices, as I said, missed out on social gatherings, family social events, etc., etc. It even came to a stage that my late dad and my mum would say, if there was a wedding in the family, or do mind your wedding now, go to your races, because they were firmly behind me as well. So it paid off in the finish.
Yeah, it's always good to have people like that behind you. Jerry, a clip of yourself calling home the Paddy Power chase at Leopardstown went absolutely viral. Did you find
Roaring
yourself?
Bull.
Sorry?
Well, yeah, Roaring Bull.
Yeah.
Roaring Bull and myself will have to go down together when the time comes. No, for me, I was just so relieved that it was Roaring Bull when the finishers went by me, because I recall Jigginstown had multiple runners in the Paddy Power that particular year, and I was just so relieved that it actually was Roaring Bull, that it wasn't another one of their horses. But it just seemed to connect with the race score, and yeah, I'm often reminded about that commentary. Yeah, so it's what shall I say? It hit the public for some particular reason, you know.
Yeah. I can only imagine you found yourself getting a lot more interactions, I suppose, after that. Surely it only helped your career.
Well, it didn't do any harm to it anyway. So yeah, I'm reminded of it all the time. You know, when I meet racecourse at the race, people I wouldn't know, and Roaring Bull. So, as I said, we'd have to go into the one hole together.
You've a trademark it now at this stage.
Yeah.
You mentioned calling them big handicaps, Jerry. Are they truly a commentator's worst nightmare?
I like a challenge, Ryan. I do. I like a challenge. The bigger the fields, the more in my element I am, to be honest. Because there's nothing like a 3 or a 4 runner chase over 3 miles, and there's a lot of filling in to do.
Yeah.
But I give me the Cambridgeshire up the Curragh, or the aforementioned Paddy Power and Leopardstown, where there's maximum fields of runners. Give me them any day over a handful of runners races.
That must be quite difficult, actually, the smaller fields. Do you find yourself just nearly trying to waffle your way through them at times?
They can be quite repetitive. As I said, if you had a handful of runners in a 3 mile plus hurdle or chase, there's a lot of repetition on the way around. You do try to. I would try to add some bit of editorial, but not too much, because I've kind of stuck to the motto of keeping it simple, and leave the editorial to those people who look after the editorial. Because all that added extra stuff, it's in form books, so
yeah,
you don't repeat to people what they already know. So that's been my motto: keep it simple, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's a good way to go. Look, you've
the
called
old-fashioned way, right? The old-fashioned way.
Yeah. You've called home some remarkable races in your time. Is there a real highlight race that stands out against everything else?
Well, the Irish Champion Stakes never fails to disappoint. That's always of top drawer standard. Leopardstown at Christmas, 4 quality days racing. Any meeting at the Curragh or Punchestown. But then I have soft spot for the summer tracks, the Ballinrobes and the Sligoes. Every one of the 26 tracks here have have character. You look for, like, 6 months of the year you would spend on the eastern side of the country, and the other 6 you're heading across to the west from April to October. So I always look forward to my trips to the west and up north, Downpatrick, where I did my very first course commentary in May 2000. I have a fondness for all these places. And there's great variety. They say variety is the spice of life. I'm not in the one place, every day that I'm working. So there's good variation throughout. But no, the 4 days at Leopardstown on Christmas, I look forward to after the break. But yeah, the Champion Stakes there never fails to disappoint.
Yeah. Look, you do see a lot of racing every day, day in, day out. Have you ever came across anything like Rachel Blackmore in high cycle?
Not in my time, no. And I don't think I will. They're just a phenomenal combination. Season in, season out, racking up wins after wins. We're blessed. Irish racing, national on racing is blessed to have them. I would envisage Henry will plot the same course as last year. I doubt we'll see her at Christmas. It'll be the Dublin Racing Festival and Cheltenham thereafter and Punchestown. That was the route she took last year. But yeah, sure, they're a one-off combination. The Haddon's Grace win was just it was unprecedented. To just romp away with it. That's joining some elite horses in doing so.
Definitely, yeah. Do you think she could win the Champion Hurdle this year?
I don't see anything to match her, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't see anything there to match her. She seems to, like, if you look at the Haddon's Grays last year, she just saw that she's so 12 months on, she's evidently a better mare again. So I don't think there's anything to match her. No, Cheltenham is far distance away yet.
Yeah.
So no, I can't. There's nothing that jumps out at me to lower her colours. No.
And then finally, Jerry, before I let you go, is there any horse that has impressed you lately that maybe some of our listeners should watch out for next time?
A horse that disappointed me in the John Durkin after dismantling a small field in the Clonmel Isle. Fakir Dairies, I thought the way he won the Clonmel Isle, that's a horse for the season now. I would have in my top 10. Disappointed in the John Durkin. I thought that they might head straight to King George and bypass Punchestown, but he still might line up in Kempton. I think a flat track. Maybe it was a bounce factor too, because it was his first run of the season in Clonmel, but wouldn't lose faith in him yet. He's one that if he does take his place in Kempton, he would have a live each way chance. I think Kempton is attractive to suit him, Will he still to unleash some of his big guns? Uncharacteristically, the ground is good. December. This weekend, looking at the declarations for Naas on Thursday, Gayard and Mayneel is debuting over fences. And what Willie has run thus far, they've all impressed. So Fakir,
Fakir Dillery.
I wouldn't. I think
that's the one.
He's a Joe Grade 1 winner. He'll be thereabouts in Kempton if he does take his place.
Do you think an argument is going to be the real deal?
No, that was he won the Hilly Way, and I was looking in from Punchestown as there was a clash that day.
Yeah.
Couldn't have won any more impressively. Now I always like to see them. People tend to get carried away after their first run. I always like to see them second time. But he's flawless so far over fences. Willie is spoiled for choice with his chasers. So his next run now, I presume, will it be Christmas?
I would imagine so, yeah. I think he has an entry in Christmas.
No one enjoyed it more than Sean O'Keefe, promising young man.
Yeah, very promising. Look, Jerry, that's all we actually have time for now. So, look, thank you very, very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Ryan, don't mention, and I wish you and all of the team happy Christmas.
And to you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jerry.